that's more than just a...
就在但宾尼地铁站旁边。
Maggie sauces.
The more time passes, the more baffling case.
Let me tell you a story. On January 6, 2020, a YouTube video was posted on the Save Case Closed YouTube channel featuring a voice actor named Joe Murray, who was the voice actor of Conan Edogawa and Shinichi Kudo. But hold on, on the official wiki it says here that the voice actors for Shinichi and Conan were Jerry Jewell and Alison Victorine respectively. So who is Joe Murray? Well, what if I told you that Case Closed, the English dub of Conan everyone knows that came out of North America, was not the first one. In fact, the first ever English dub of Conan was birthed in a tiny little Asian country called Singapore. It lasted only 52 episodes, disappeared from all broadcasts, and then vanished without a trace. No recordings remain to prove it ever existed beyond the memories of a select few, myself included, who claimed to have seen it on TV. This particular dub not only predated the North American dub, but was the very first English localization of Conan ever. So what was the story behind this elusive dub? Why did it get lost in the annals of time? And most importantly, what was the Singapore dub like? Well, like and subscribe, and do consider supporting the show on Patreon. You get exclusive updates on upcoming videos, member-only polls, and also being able to watch videos early and ad-free.
Okay, let's go.
To fully understand the context, I think it's important to know how this dub even came about in the first place. In the 90s, Singapore was experimenting with the idea of deregulating media distribution in the country. Till this point, all media was filtered through the state-run Singapore Press Holdings, or SPH for short, and they wanted to introduce more competition in the space. So on June 8th in the year 2000, MediaWorks was born. A competing broadcaster that would usher in this new era of demonopolizing media and entertainment in the tiny country. Naturally, MediaWorks needed programming and they needed it fast. And so they struck a deal with Odex, an anime licensor and distributor, to quickly acquire the rights to the Detective Conan franchise, and others along with it. We'll cover those in a future video. To immediately begin dubbing it to air on their new TV channel, Channel I. However, due to budget constraints and a tight schedule, it was a laborious mad dash to the finish line for the production crew. Voice actors frequently voiced multiple characters, poorly translated scripts would be handed to the crew which would force them to improvise a lot of their lines, and they were also not paid very much for their enormous amount of work. Joe Murray, the voice of Shinichi and Conan, even cited at times he was not even allowed to take any retakes of his lines.
I was quite attentive to getting the best performance possible, and over time I think that grated on the directors, Chuck Powers in particular, because it was like, dude, we don't have time for another take. You know, this one's good enough. So I think performance got sacrificed in order to meet schedules and in order to minimize the amount of time in the studio and not have me hog the booth because other actors were scheduled to come in after me.
It was a mission and a half, but finally around October of 2003, the first episodes of the dub aired on Singapore television. Now, a bit more of a personal account here. 9-year-old me stumbled upon one of these episodes and I was instantly hooked. I was already accustomed to watching other shows at that point like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Cardcaptor Sakura, Power Rangers, and other gems of the 2000s. But something about Detective Conan made it stand out to me. Firstly, I had never watched a show centered around murder mysteries and detectives before. It was also new and enticing, but what really made it stand out was, frankly, how dark it was. I mean, look at some of these. These were some horrifying images for a kid, and that's why you always hear fans talk about how this guy was what traumatized them as a kid.
I'm scared to death. I'm frightened and I want to go home.
Detective Conan definitely captured the hearts of many Singaporeans. Frequently during newer film releases, I see fans my age and older still excitedly lining up at the local cinema. And my bets are we all found Detective Conan the same way. However, despite its charm and surprising quality, the show's ratings simply did not meet expectations for the executives at MediaWorks. The show's performance, though decent, was not the juggernaut MediaWorks needed to justify the series' expensive licensing cost. And so, after only 52 episodes, the Singapore English dub was cancelled and no new episodes were ever made again. No physical media was ever produced for the Singapore dub either. Speculation suggests that higher-ups were just so concerned with finishing production that no attention was given to the ratings of the show or any form of physical media like VCDs. There were no second thoughts on investing in the series any further. And just like that, the Conan Singapore dub would be lost to the annals of time. That was until this very video posted on the 6th of January 2020, where it was finally revealed that Joe Murray had ripped raw footage of the show's episodes and stored them on DVD discs. And around a year later, on February 3rd, 2021, these very files would surface on the internet to the public, forever preserving this piece of history. Now for the final question of what the hell actually was the Singapore dub like? Well...
Why, sure, I'll be glad to take care of you. And as far as cause of death,
He drowned.
he's Heiji Hattori.
Then that means that he's got to be at least a little bit...
yeah, let's get to that another day.